Show.
This is the Jim and Terry Show, coming to you in two parts. The first part is with Terry in the Hobbit Hole studio, as per usual, in Bob Cajun.
And it's Jim Sampson in wonderful downtown Pepperlaw, sitting on his cozy couch with his leaf blankie.
Well, listen, just a personal observation right off the bat. You look well, my friend. Cheers.
You look good too. Yeah, cheers. Hey, we haven't done that in a while too.
No clink clink.
Oh, it tastes good though. Nice. You've got your exotic brew, and I've got my. I don't. All I have is Folgers.
I call yours the Heinz 57 of coffee. It's a little bit of this and a leftover that and a spoonful of something, and you throw it all together in a blender, and then you drink it, and you call it coffee.
That doesn't sound so exotic, does it?
Well, it is what it is, and it's whatever you have available. So cheers this morning.
Yes,
and maybe you're glad that you're not commuting, because it is a bit slippery out there.
Oh, has it snowed? I haven't looked out.
Just enough that if you were driving at night, you might see a glare. It might be that icy. So
we're supposed
anyway,
to get nailed with a major storm.
Well, we're supposed to get 15 centimeters, which is hardly a major. Not like Buffalo got buried.
Yeah, if it's only 15 centimeters, that's not much.
No, it's not even a full foot. Like, that's 30 centimeters. Buffalo, I think, got feet, 3 or 4 feet.
They did.
Yeah.
The last count of that last storm was 6 feet.
6 feet.
Yeah.
I think you and I would have trouble navigating.
Well, Buffalo's a funny place, though, that area.
Yeah.
I know Christina, she went, one year her brother was visiting, and they decided to go to New York, so they flew to Buffalo. And it was when the major storm hit Buffalo. And I think the airport was clear. Buffalo's a funny place. Like, there's a stream that comes through, and only part of that area gets completely nailed. Usually it's just part of it. And it comes off, I think it comes from the west off of Lake Erie. You know, it goes the whole length of Lake Erie and just dumps all the moisture it picks up.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm glad. Makes me glad I live here.
Location, they say in real estate. And I guess you better know which side of that stream of snow you're purchasing your house on.
Yeah, well, this is why I think I'd probably prefer South Carolina or Florida or something like that.
Everybody's got their problems, whether it's hurricanes or whatever. Rising tides, floods. I mean...
Yeah, well, it's been a while since we've got together. Just for our audience, I have vertigo, and it nailed me a couple of weeks ago. And with all truth, I really did feel like I was having a heart attack or a stroke. I thought I was dying, and I threw up and threw up and threw up like I couldn't throw up anymore, and I couldn't even get myself to a washroom. I needed help. You know, all over the place. So now I'm a lot better, but I still can't do a travel out to Bob Cajun, for instance. And we wanted to be a little bit careful over the holidays anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
But I'm still staggering. Like I've had one too many or two too many drinks.
Wow. So what do you have? Do you have a cane or a walker that you're using to navigate?
No, I can make it good now. I mean, I live in a little place, so there's a chair here, a wall there,
a guitar stand there, a mic stand.
Yeah, that kind of thing, and I can make it to where I got to go. But like for instance, today, like I usually would just get up in the dark and come out. Right, I don't have to worry about the lights on, or I left the light on, so that like when I get up to go to the washroom now in the night, I turn the light on. Which I normally never did before, because I'm afraid I'll trip and stumble.
Yeah.
Because once I start stumbling, it's not like you just lose your balance. You start heading for the wall, or the floor.
Wow. So you've had your struggles.
Yeah. So that's just an explanation for our hordes How are you
Yeah,
doing?
our ones and twos. Well, the color looks good in your cheeks, my friend. So you're on your way to recovery just in time for Christmas.
Just in time. How are you doing though?
I'm doing very well.
You look
I
healthy as well.
Oh, thank you. I didn't shave this morning, so I'm staying. My pricklies don't show, but my last few days have been assisting with driving my daughter to Trent for exams. And you know, at university, the exams can be rather lengthy. So I get time to drop her off and go do stuff. And usually, because I'm trying to be cautious, I don't go a heck of a lot of places. So I went to Tim Hortons, ordered a drive through coffee. And, you know, you sit in your car, but when it's freezing out, I think it was -15 one day that we drove for an 8 o'clock in the morning exam. Well, that's pretty frosty, pretty nippy, and you sit in your car warming it. And I'm just being cautious, that's all. So,
Yeah, you know me. I'd be at the fisherman's market.
yeah, you'd be out and about. I still pack my mask with me whenever I get outside of my vehicle. And the second exam, a few days later, I did venture out into Costco, my foray into the mega shopping centers for the first time in years. And, well, it was interesting.
Well, you
I'm
know,
not sure that I enjoy this big market stuff, the Walmarts and the Costcos of the world, but it was interesting. Of course, the people in my demographic are wearing masks. Most of them, not all, but everybody
yeah,
who's
I forget a lot of the time now, and it would be wise to wear a mask. You know, like I went, my friend Debbie had to take me shopping because I had to get to the bank in Beaverton. They closed the bank in Parfilage, you know,
yes,
and so I had to get her to drive me because I could do it. I could drive anywhere to be truthful, but
it's the mobility.
well, it's just it's like you know, you have to concentrate like you've been drinking all night or something. Like you have to
Wow.
really just concentrate because of your brain feels loose
Yeah.
and all that. You know, I know I can see you laugh.
That's at the best of times, my friend. That's a good
Yeah.
description.
What was my point? Oh yeah, so I went and picked up some stuff shopping, and I wore I didn't wear a mask. I just went in, didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Just went into the store. So yeah, I'm not as cautious as you, but I think I should be. That's only wisdom.
Well, it's wisdom for yourself. It's wisdom for others around you. But in my case, I mean, I've got everybody is coming home for Christmas. So the song is true. I'll be home for Christmas. Everybody's singing it. And so I want to be careful, extra careful.
Yeah, Christmas is a cool time of year for that, getting together. Uh, yeah, it is.
Well, it's Christmas or just as an observation. But the last time I saw your family was at a funeral.
Yes, it's funerals or weddings usually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so
We're at that age and stage where this is going to become more frequent.
yeah, too bad, eh? Probably
It is the
more.
reality. It's what it is.
Yeah,
And the more we embrace, what's the Buddhist way of looking at it? If we embrace impermanence and come to accept it, then we don't have the issue with passing.
yeah, yeah. Well, people cry still.
Well, you are a romantic and a poet and all of those things as a musician, which comes in handy if you're writing lyrics. You got to be able to express stuff. So that passionate side comes through in your songs.
Yeah, yeah,
So cheers for your album, which is sitting on my credenza.
yeah. I
And
haven't really
thank you
done
for that
anything.
personal note. That silence was the silence of two retired guys sipping their coffees at exactly the same time.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, what can I tell you? So
You can't say anything.
I got to sleep this morning, which was funny because the alarm woke me up, and it's rather startling because it's on my phone, and my phone's like 10 feet away from the bed. Right? Whoa! Yes, get the alarm, get it. It's not that loud. I don't know why I panicked to get it. bloody well brush my teeth before I shut it off, and it wouldn't disturb anybody in the house.
Oh, good for you.
But that's my big
Um,
awakening this morning.
is trying to get a phone that's 10 feet away.
Yeah, yeah. And
That must be a
you know what I
challenge.
did though?
Do you have to crawl on the floor?
I knocked my glasses on the floor, not knowing it. I couldn't find my
Oh
stupid
my
glasses.
God.
And of course,
Yeah.
you can't see, right? Now, how do you look for something when you haven't got glasses on?
That's exactly right. Well,
Yeah.
these are
But I found them.
these are tales from growing old, my friend.
Yeah. But look at us. Look at us.
I know we're having a great time.
We
Uh,
look like we can still play a good game of squash once we warm
oh,
up for a
these,
couple of games.
this is where Jim brings out the tales of competition.
Oh
Of
yeah, I love that.
two
sport.
middle-aged guys at that point, I think, in our lives.
Yeah.
We're on the hump side of middle age, still trying to stay young. Maybe that was it. Were we trying to?
No,
No.
I think it was Michael that got me interested in it, and I think you had already been involved in that kind of thing. And I played, and I was horrible at it. Got a racket, a half decent racket, got better at it. Maybe the competition part of my life, which I don't always know is there, but I guess it is. And then I just enjoyed it like absolutely immensely. The workout was wonderful. You'd sweat like crazy, and I still am amazed how much you can just throw yourself down on a solid wood floor and get right back up. You know, like as you're diving for balls and everything. I just think we should have carried on. I don't know why we stopped, but we should have carried on.
Because Bob Cajun's a little drive.
Well, that's why we stopped. Yeah, I guess it is. And I guess there's no squash courts somewhere in the middle, right?
No, you have to go. I think it was to Uxbridge, to their center.
Has Bob Cajun got a squash court?
No.
Yeah.
Not enough interest. Small town, smaller village.
Yeah,
That's the way it goes. Well, listen, I wanted to catch up on some of the most exciting space news with our first podcast back, because things have been happening space related. And I thought, with your vertigo, at least you might be sitting in your chair, although your chair might feel like it's moving like an Orion capsule or something. I don't know how vertigo affected you. But the Orion mission launched and returned.
Yeah, it's I find it neat. I find it exciting. I find it cumbersome because I think once SpaceX gets moving and gets rocking, I think we won't be spending $4.5 billion to send an orb to the moon that will actually send a ship the size of a 747 to the moon. A little bit more comfort, a little bit more modern, a little bit more routine as opposed to waiting 2 years between every flight.
Starship is going eventually, but the interim SpaceX is going to be their capsule, their Crew Dragon.
Yeah, the Crew Dragon, that's not going to be part of the Artemis program.
No.
Yeah, so
but they are going to send it.
The Crew Dragon is, until SpaceX gets up with the Starship,
yes,
it's still going to be their crew delivery and their cargo delivery to the space station. But they're planning on phasing that out. He really does believe in the Starship above it all. And that'll be great to think about that thing flying. I guess we shouldn't take away from the achievement of Artemis. It's got to be incredibly, incredibly difficult to do that, to send something to the moon and back. Because look how hard it took, look how long it was, and look at the celebration of the victory of it returning safe and sound.
And yet, remember, it's just the capsule that returned. Everything else was consumed.
Oh, I know. Everything else was destroyed, and the capsule could have been destroyed too. But it made it, and that was good. And I had one person say, well, why, when they were right there, why didn't they land on the moon? I was trying to explain to them, that they're trying to make it safe for human travel. They got to find out the levels of radiation and, what they need to do to improve it. And you don't just want to send people and have them die. So I think people forget that when they went to the moon the first time, there was a couple of trips around the moon before they landed on the moon. So, yeah, it's a very, very difficult thing to do, I think. More difficult than we imagine, and we look at it now and go, why is it so difficult? But it is.
Especially this orbit that they chose, because they did a big ellipsis around
Yeah.
the moon and were recaptured by the moon's orbit and slingshotted back to Earth. I mean, there are a lot of complications in that pathway. If you go to NASA.com, you can check the pathway of the Orion capsule. It's quite fascinating to see how they did this.
Yeah, I don't even know how the James Webb orbits out there. It orbits sort of itself. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how they're doing it. So
What?
it's
Okay,
amazing.
we'll get to some of that in a bit, maybe. But the details do fascinate me, and orbits are based on gravity and the pull of relative bodies and mass. And I
Yes.
love that interplay because somebody sat down and calculated where exactly that, what I'm going to call it a waypoint, is where they parked the James Webb Space Telescope. They parked it so that it will always be doing its deep space scans with its back to the sun and solar panels collecting in enough energy to keep it shooting in the right direction. It's an amazing bit of technology. I wanted to talk about the Artemis program because the capsule for Dear Moon, SpaceX,
Yeah.
is that project is going ahead, and somebody that we follow on YouTube
Yes.
is
The,
being selected to go to
the
the moon.
everyday astronaut.
Yes.
And that's amazing. I thought first that the episode when he announced it, I thought maybe he was kidding. But no, he's been chosen. All the other podcasters are all congratulating him and saying we know some. I think he's a pretty smart guy.
I
Um,
think so too.
what's his name, Terry? For Pete's
Tim
sake,
Dodd.
Tim Dodd. I think he must be a pretty smart guy. Musk has given him a couple personal tours,
Yes.
and he seems like just your average everyday guy. But he got selected, and it wasn't just oh well, he's kind of neat. Let's pick him. Oh no, you got to pass a lot of criteria
Yeah.
to be selected to go. You still need training for like an astronaut and everything in order to. You can't just go into space willy nilly. You have to
Now,
have some training.
this Dear Moon project is paid for, if I'm not mistaken, by a wealthy
Japanese.
entrepreneur,
Yeah.
Japanese entrepreneur, and he's made his millions, billions, or whatever it is that he's throwing at this, and he purchased seats for other kinds of people, artisans, artists. In Tim Dodd's case, he's just a space advocate.
Well, they must view him as a blog artist or something, or
I think
because
he's a communicator.
yeah, they that was still the criteria. They just expanded what artistry is, I think, and
Yes.
and they thought, yeah, you know what, this guy he must have been convincing in his reply in his request, because they said, yeah, you know, he is an artist. He's put this all together. You know, it's beautiful how it goes. He's a great communicator, and
He
he's
is.
intelligent in what he's doing. So, way to go, buddy. You know, way to
Hmm.
go.
Yeah, I celebrated that. That was this past week, I think. I sent you the link to say, whoo, it's finally been announced.
Now, would you have gone if they all of a
Yes,
sudden
in
said,
a
Terry,
heartbeat, in a
would you?
heartbeat.
I don't think I would have. I think I would have said, no, let's just see you guys do this for a while. I know I'm
Well,
running out of wild times, but
I would love to go if they could figure out that space toilet. Otherwise, I'm not sure how comfortable I'd be in diapers.
oh yeah, all the way there, all the way back. Yeah.
It all depends, my friend, and that'll be another age and stage joke
Come
for
on, tell
us.
me, you know, T minus 5 minutes. Have I got time to go to the washroom? No,
There
just
you
sit
go.
there. That would be me, you know.
Yep. No, I hear you on that one.
Yeah.
So there we go. And I'm gonna go with this comparison of SpaceX and their Crew Dragon capsule, which you know is the Cadillac version of space transport at this point,
Yes.
compared to either the Russian capsule that takes you up or even Orion. Apparently, SpaceX has got the cream of the crop. So Dear Moon is nothing to sneeze at. It's going to be a luxury ride in your Cadillac version of spaceships.
Well, remember that's what Musk said back in. It wasn't that long ago. What, 3 years when he announced this project? He said you can't be sending people to Mars in a tin can. They'll go nuts. You got to have a community area. You got to have your separate bedrooms. You have to, and that's what one of the designs behind you know, the Starship by SpaceX is it is going to be a ship where you can get up, float around, I guess, and walk over and visit and go to the gallery, and look out and see the stars, all that kind of stuff. Because he said, you'll go nuts. You can't send people, 6 months in a tin can. That's crazy.
Well,
And I
I
agree
think
with him.
I think the transportation is going to be reduced considerably because there are some new engines and propulsion systems
Yes,
that are
yes.
coming into development that may reduce that to a fraction of what we are thinking now.
Well, I hope so. And of course, now something we probably really should have discussed, maybe another show, is they've made fusion. They've they've
Yes,
they've made fusion basically a little star, which can produce unlimited amount of clean energy. So if you can get that, maybe that technology, and mix it with space travel, maybe you're onto something, Terry. Maybe it won't be all that long, and we'll be getting there
maybe.
in a week.
Well, the Jim and Terry Show, we love to wonder about stuff. Curiosity fuels the Jim and Terry Show.
Yes, yes,
Well,
yes.
we'll bring this one. This is now double our usual length podcast. So we'll say goodbye to this one, and I'll call you right back. Same bat time, same bat channel. Don't move. Do not
Oh,
adjust yourself.
golly gee, that guy. Okay.
Okay, bye-bye for now.
Bye bye.